The Washington Commanders fall on a short week on Thursday Night Football to the Green Bay Packers on the road by losing 27-18 in a game where it was really like pulling teeth for much of this football game, watching the Commanders' offense. And then defensively, honestly, we could say that the Commanders were pretty fortunate to still be in the game in the fourth quarter at some points in here. Green Bay was clearly the better football team today. The Commanders missed 2 kicks. Now, the Packers also missed a kick today from Brandon McManus. But just overall today, the Packers were the better team. They deserved to win, and the Commanders are very much still a work in progress. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Don't miss a post-game show this year. Every single game, we're going to have a post-game reaction show that we put out on the channel after the game is over. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we're going to be giving you guys these post-game reaction shows every single week. So now let's get into this game here. And, I don't think the score dictates or tells the story of just how one-sided this game was for most of it. Jordan Love missed some throws that he probably should have made today, but he still finishes with almost 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns with no picks. Tucker Kraft, a tight end, led their team with 124 yards on 6 catches. If you can't do math, that's over 20 yards of reception, and he had a touchdown. Just couldn't guard the tight ends today. Josh Jacobs, I thought the team actually did a pretty decent job on Josh Jacobs. I thought the front played pretty decently. It's just on the back end, the secondary couldn't get the job done. Today's leading carry getter for Washington was the guy that had only 4 carries. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had 17, and that just shows you how poorly Austin Ekeler played today. Obviously, Austin, our thoughts go out to him, man. Somebody that works so hard, is so beloved by this locker room. He goes down with that Achilles injury. Just not great stuff there. Hoping it's not like a full tear or something. I don't even know if an Achilles injury can just be like a sprain or something. I'm guessing not. Guessing it's a full tear. And he'll be out for the season. Deatrich Wise also had to be carted off the field with a quad injury. That did not look good either. And then also John Bates, Noah Brown, and Jonathan Jones all left this game with respective injuries. So obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to Ekeler and Wise. Really, really hoping that the other guys, Bates, Brown, and Jones' injuries aren't that serious. We also saw Jayden Daniels limping towards the end of the game. Really hoping that doesn't affect his practice time. Just felt like everybody on this Commanders team was getting hurt or toasted by their opponent tonight. It just wasn't a very fun game to watch as a Commanders fan this evening. But of course, with Ekeler, especially as towards the end of his career, hopefully he can come back and have at least a couple more fruitful seasons if he wants to come back. But, Achilles injury this late into his career might mean retirement for number 30. But then we get to the takeaways here. I got 10 of them tonight. Got a lot to talk about. First one is that, guys, this was a tough ask for the Washington Commanders. That Packers team is legit, okay? Like that defense, with the way they're getting after the quarterback on third downs, with the way that they're covering receivers. Like how many times in one-on-one man coverage did they just have a straight-up PBU? I mean, Keyshawn Nixon, what a game. Kudos to them. Tip your cap. That's a really well-coached football team. That's a very well-rounded football team. That's a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And you had to go into their building on a short week with a lack of preparation time, and then you had all these injuries happen. Now, obviously, you want to play better. You want to manage the game better. You want to have better play calling, better game plan heading into the week, both sides of the ball, and you want to execute better. Because if the Commanders want to win a Super Bowl this year, they got to beat the Packers. But, this is certainly a tough ask this week. And I have some level of confidence that this team, come January, can beat this Packer team when they meet again. Then we get to Josh Connerly Jr., man, and it was just a tough game for him. He was an absolute turnstile, multiple pressures given up, multiple sacks given up. And I just thought it was malpractice. I mean, one of my keys to victory in this game was to give him help because you knew that you were going to have Micah Parsons lined up against him multiple times. Cliff Kingsbury had him one-on-one versus Micah Parsons, who was just insane today. I mean, I know he only had half a sack, but he was consistently putting pressure on Jayden Daniels, who honestly played a pretty, I would say, decent game, knowing that he had to pass the ball time and time again in the second half. But Micah Parsons was unbelievable today. His get-off is special. His athleticism is special. His bag in terms of ways he can win as a pass rusher is special. And, Connerly, didn't matter if it was Parsons or somebody else. He was just not good tonight, unfortunately. And then there's a big question mark here about the Packers looking as good as they did on offense today. Is the Commanders' defense exposed? Because last week you only give up 6 points to the New York Giants, and everyone's feeling really good about this defense. I thought the front played pretty decently today, guys. I'm not too worried about that unit in terms of run defense, but passing defense today was just awful. I mean, the tight ends absolutely killed you. Honestly, Jordan Love should have had more in this game. He should have had probably 2 more touchdowns in this game. He missed a couple deep balls, more than a couple, actually. I think he missed 3 or 4 open deep balls in this game. Touchdown got called back on the first drive of the game. So, this could have gotten even worse than what it actually was. I think Love obviously statistically played a pretty decent game, but a lot of it was schemed open stuff. He missed a lot of big-time throws down the field. But when you have Tucker Kraft doing Tucker Kraft things, I mean, I said in our preview, watch out for this guy because he can be sneaky with the way that they scheme him open. And he's really good after the catch as well. Will Harris, you can't just expect to go up to him and just run right past him and get shoved out of bounds. That is just an absolute trash effort. But, yeah, you can't expect to go up against Green Bay and not be physical against their tight ends, and the Commanders weren't tonight. Then you get to Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, goodness gracious, man. He needs to play better. I mean, you trade what you trade for him, and you bring him back this year to be your number 1 corner and to be the mentor for guys like Trey Amos and Mike Samershill, 2 young players. And, frankly, Amos and Samershill led the way in the cornerback room today. Lattimore was the guy they were picking on. He was the backup corner that's coming in for an injured veteran. It was just an absolute joke. I mean, it was time after time after time. I think he had 1 PBU today. And he just needs to play better, man. The expectations are just higher for a guy like this. And, I thought he looked decent in the first game of the season, but today it just wasn't it, man. Then you get to Will Harris, and he was terrible too. I mean, allowed a wide-open touchdown to Kraft at the end of the game, completely bit on the play action. And then, of course, gets thrown out of bounds by Tucker earlier in the game. He's supposed to be the box safety, the strong safety in this defense. He's not big enough or strong enough to play that role. It's why I've been kind of advocating to get a bigger safety in this defense for a little while now. But this team had a lot of faith in Harris coming into the year, and teams with really good tight ends like the Packers, I feel like, are going to take advantage of a guy like Will Harris if they continue to play him as their strong safety. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. Grade today's performance from the Commanders, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give them probably a C or C minus, probably C minus. Not a whole lot going for you offensively or defensively. I thought towards the end of the game they did some better things. Jayden kind of put this team on his back, kind of similarly to the NFC Championship game last year where they just had to pass it time and time and time again. Thought Jayden showed some good things. They fought where they were able to be within 1 score in the fourth quarter. It's just the wheels fell off there. So great today's performance, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm giving them a C minus. But now let's have a word from our sponsor here today at our link here at chatsports.com/Daniels, where you guys can get a Jayden Daniels jersey. Guys, I still believe in Jayden Daniels. I'm going to be giving my take here on Jayden here in just a second. But if you still believe in JD5, you guys can go chatsports.com/Daniels, pick up your jersey today. We got a bunch of different colorways. We got the Super Bowl jersey, Super Bowl era jersey, I should say. And then you got the black alternates as well. You can also get the burgundy home red here, and then you can also get the white aways. You have to use our link, though, chatsports.com/Daniels. Greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. And if you guys support Jayden Daniels and you want to help support the show as well, you guys can go chatsports.com/Daniels. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. Then another thing here that I want to do for the Washington Commanders moving forward, is Matt Gay. I mean, just absolutely terrible here. Matt Gay needs to play better. Missed 2 kicks. Now, maybe not terrible. I mean, 50-yard kick, 2 misses, 50-plus yards. Maybe, we shouldn't be completely expecting him to make those kicks. It certainly seemed like he had the leg. I don't think they're going to replace him. But, yeah, man, I feel like the kicking game, if you make those 2 kicks and you have a legitimately good kicker, you're in this game even more in the fourth quarter, and you might actually have a chance to let Jayden Daniels be Jayden Daniels in the clutch tonight. So make your kicks, Matt Gay. What are we doing here, man? Let's make that happen. then we got to use Debo more, man. We saw it towards the end of the game where they got the ball to Debo, had a touchdown at the end. But yeah, man, Debo Samuel's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He was out there for kick return a couple times, had a couple of good returns. I didn't think there was nearly enough motion for the Commanders' offense in this game. You got to use Debo Samuel on those jet motions, on those orbit motions, reverse orbit motions. We saw that in week 1 versus the Giants, but in the second half they kind of got away from their script because they had to throw the ball more, and it was a super static offense from empty time and time again. And, I just think that Debo Samuel, you got a weapon like that, you got to use him more. 7 catches today, 44 yards. You might look at 7 catches and be like, well, that's plenty for a number 2 receiver, but it's like, I feel like you could have still used him more, So I want to see Debo more involved, especially on early downs with screens, with, even handoffs, putting him in the backfield a little bit with some pony personnel there. The Packers used that pretty effectively today. The Commanders did not. Cliff Kingsbury needs to have a better plan in future weeks. Also, I want to say the Commanders might need another receiver. Now, it'll be interesting to see next week if Noah Brown is able to go, but Noah Brown, when he's been out there, has not been impressive to me the first 2 weeks. He had a couple opportunities to make some catches today that would have been somewhat difficult catches, but you would want receivers on your team to make those catches, and he didn't. Luke McCaffrey had some catches late. We'll see if he gets an opportunity. Jalen Lane had a tough time getting open as a receiver today. But it would not shock me, guys, especially because we know that this team's been in the market with some receivers. They were interested in Kendrick Bourne. Now that Noah Brown is injured, it would not shock me if they add a wide receiver to this group to complement Debo Samuel and Terry McLaurin. Speaking of Terry, it's very obvious that he and Jayden Daniels are not on the same page right now. And, that's something that's certainly going to come with time, in my opinion. I think that they will eventually get there. But with Jayden Daniels maybe dealing with a knee issue now, question is, can Jayden Daniels be healthy enough to practice and get those reps with Terry? And a lot of the stuff that is developed through training camp with chemistry and stuff like that was missing today. Now, Terry did have 5 catches, 48 yards. He nearly averaged a first down per catch, but a lot of that was garbage time stuff. On crucial downs, except for 1 third down, they weren't connecting. There was a couple curl routes where it was obvious Jayden expected Terry to be in a certain spot, and he wasn't there. Jayden overshot Terry on another deep opportunity today. That never happened last year. So that duo needs to get themselves going in the weeks to come against a bad Raiders defense and secondary next week. I do expect, hopefully, that combination to get going. And then my final takeaway, guys, I know it's been a lot of negativity in this, post-game loss reaction, but I would say don't panic, all right? We have to remember that at this time last year, after week 2, the Commanders were sitting at 1-1. They barely beat a terrible Giants team in week 2, and they got absolutely ramrodded by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road in the season opener, all right? So I think the Commanders are in a better spot right now than where they were last year. And then, of course, they go on to be one of the most dynamic football teams in the league, and they end up going to the NFC Championship game. So, maybe you can blame Dan Quinn a little bit for not having his guys ready to go week 1 as well as maybe he should. But last year it was week 3 where this team really started to get its confidence going, and with a fantastic Monday night performance against against Cincinnati. And honestly, there's a lot of parallels to that Cincinnati game with Las Vegas. Like Cincinnati, I like Geno Smith as a quarterback. I think he's going to put up points. And I think that, he showed some really good things against the Patriots in week 1. I think that, that Raiders offense is going to suck to go up against, all right? So that's going to be a good test for the defense. And then also their defense, they got Max Crosby. That's going to be a hell of a test for Josh Connerly. So it's going to be an interesting matchup in week 3 for sure. But point the finger for me down there in the comment section. I'm not panicking, but obviously today was not the best day at the office. So who's the most to blame for the loss today? Was it Dan Quinn not getting his guys ready? Was it Cliff Kingsbury not having a better plan? Was it the defense? Was it Marshawn Lattimore? Blame somebody down there in the comment section. I think that there's a lot of blame to go around in this one, guys. And when that happens, usually the person you point the finger to, at least in my opinion, is the head coach. Didn't have his guys ready to go today. I'm still a big believer in Dan Quinn. It was a tough ask to get this team ready to go for a short week against this football team here and a very good Packer team. But today I will blame the head coach, Dan Quinn. All right, so that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Some final thoughts. By no means panicking. Tough ask to go into Green Bay and take on that good football team and beat them. They did fight. I did like the fight from the Commanders today, but there's certainly things that they still need to work on. With Austin Ekeler probably out for the season, that means Bill Krosky-Merritt's going to have a big uptick in his production. He's going to be the bona fide number one running back in this running back room, most likely moving forward. That's exciting, even though that sucks for Austin. And obviously our thoughts and our prayers go out to him, as this is a tough moment for him in his career. But Bill is a very exciting young player, and he's going to get used more. So that's very good stuff. I expect Jayden and Terry to eventually get on the same page. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Debo. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Zach Ertz, who had a really good game today. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the front here in Washington. This is by far no means, the end of the Commanders season, guys. So keep your chin up. We got another game here. Ample time to prepare for the Raiders. I expect this team to get back in the win column and win in week 3. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate your guys' support. And until next time, guys, hail to the Commanders.